Hello and welcome everyone to our webinar, The Dirty Little Secret in Senior Living Digital Marketing, presented by Senior Living Smart and our partner Concentric. So now I'd like to present to you Sean Cassidy and Stephen Anderson from Concentric. Just a little background. Sean Cassidy has been in sales and marketing in the senior living, advancing rapidly over these last 8 years. He got his start working for the industry's leading third-party lead generation, A Place for Mom, and has gone on to work for another lead generation startup, Blue Harbor Senior Living, as Director of Sales and Marketing. With his experience on both sides of lead vendor operational relationship, he has a keen insight on how each party thinks and strategizes. Knowing that he has learned from both sides, is focused on telling the story of how senior living operators can do more and do better when it comes to controlling their brand online through digital brand optimization strategies and tactics. And also introducing Stephen Anderson, managing partner of Concentric. Stephen has been a leader in search engine marketing since search and marketing channel has existed. A strategist at heart, he has created high-performing programs for brands large and small and across challenging industries such as insurance, travel, personal finance, retail, and home services. Working with large brands like Marriott, Blue Shield of California, and Safeco Insurance, Stephen draws on his experience to help senior living communities achieve their full potential. So I welcome both Sean and Stephen.
All right. Well, thank you guys for attending this webinar, taking time out of your busy Friday. I know you probably have property calls and whatnot, but glad you could join us. Use the catchy title to pique your interest and make sure you showed up for our webinar. But the reality is the problem that we're going to be discussing today really isn't a secret at all. In fact, it's literally right out in the open on the internet every day. However, we think few people in the senior living industry understand the magnitude of the problem the industry faces when it comes to digital marketing. So we're gonna jump in and tackle that issue today.
So Sean, can you provide an overview of what you think that problem is in senior living digital marketing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's no secret that there's very little choice for people. You know, A Place for Mom and Caring.com are the biggest two third-party lead generators in the space, and the discrepancy between the two is pretty large. You know, it represents a bit of a monopoly, and I think we all feel that way. And the other issue is that most third-party lead providers, they're using your brand, your community's name, or your operator name to acquire leads for themselves, and then they share those leads with all of their partners. That's another issue. The other issue is that they're very aggressive. All they do is online digital marketing. You know, operators have you know, care concerns and operational concerns. They're not, you know, necessarily focused on digital marketing every day. And so a lot of times they're getting to your customers before you do. And many times these leads are at the very beginning of their journey. There's a ton of leads coming from these providers. They're typically of low quality. These people are early in the process. You know, they lay claim to these names for years. And just getting to a name earlier isn't necessarily a good business model for operators. I think for the consumer, getting 10 different phone calls and emails from 10 different buildings might actually turn a lot of people off in the very beginning stages of senior living, and I think that's affecting our industry as well. And I think the biggest problem is that in most instances, operators and communities, they're just not aware or thinking about digital marketing in these terms. Most people just accept how it's always been. You know, Place for Mom has been around since 2000. Caring.com has been around since 2007. They just accept it, and they don't really think about how to minimize third-party moving costs. It's a little bit of a fear of missing out. If I don't get a move-in from a third party, I'm missing out on that move-in. When in reality, you can be doing things to position yourself to get that lead coming directly to you instead of going through a third party. And you know, that's really what we're hoping to bring awareness to the industry today, and in our business model, and offer up a way to tackle this problem.
Good points, Sean. And I know that this is kind of a love-hate relationship with A Place for Mom, but I'm gonna just do a quick poll for everyone that's on the call, and we want to know: do you think this is a problem that the industry faces, or your individual community? We'll let this go for about 30 seconds while everyone takes time to vote.
Yeah, and while people are filling out the poll, I just want to make it really clear that I think third-party lead providers are absolutely a necessity in our industry. I just would like to see a better model that's more in line with a win-win-win for the third parties, the consumer, and the operators.
Absolutely. So I think we have just about everyone, and not completely surprised, but yeah, we have 86 voted yes that this is a problem, and only 14% not quite sure. So hopefully with the remainder of this presentation we'll clarify a few points.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good to know. You don't want necessarily 100%. It's a healthy debate. So but hopefully we can address everybody's concern and explain the problem how we see it here in this webinar today. So Concentric's mission is to enable senior living communities to control and maximize their online branded footprint. I mean, it's no secret. It's 2017. The internet is a control point. My mom is 75 years old. She has an iPad, an iPhone, and a laptop. I mean, she's on apps every day. She's on the internet every day. It isn't just the young folk that are on the internet. The internet is here to stay. It's a control point, and all of your offline marketing and all your online marketing certainly go through this control point called the internet. And so our goal is to really just help senior living communities maximize and control their online branded footprint. So just a brief overview of the industry, and I really just to kind of set the table for everybody on the phone, and I'm really just focusing on the top two since they really control 95% of the online traffic. A Place for Mom was founded in 2000. They used to send faxed referral alerts out. They had a jump on Caring.com of 7 years. Caring.com was founded in 2007. So really from 2000 to 2007, there are only two major growth events, two companies being formed. And then from 2007 to 2014, just another two. And I put this 2012 Caring Launches, Caring Stars on here as a major event because I think a lot of people don't understand what this is. Caring.com came up with this system where they give you a Caring Star. You're a Caring Star community, and you could put a badge notifying the general public that you're a Caring Star of Caring.com. Well, it's a Trojan horse. A lot of people don't understand this. When you put that badge on your website, there's some embedded code in that badge that tells Google, oh, this badge links to Caring.com, so anybody types in a community that has this Caring Star badge on it, Google automatically goes, oh, this is a relevant site, this Caring.com site, let's return this result as well. And so I'm going to talk more about what that means later on, but I think that's a major event. I don't think a lot of people know that code is embedded in that Caring Star icon that they put on their website to the general public. 2014, Caring.com was acquired by Bankrate.com, and then 2015, Caring acquired SeniorHomes.com. So you see some consolidation. 2016, A Place for Mom acquires OurParents.com. They're acquiring and kind of gaining traction and gaining more viewers onto their different web assets. And so, in the last 3 years, from 2015 to now, the intensity of activity has increased with five major events in that 3-year period. The top two lead providers now represent 95% of the move-in volume from third-party lead providers. With this uptick in major, event frequency, the future is in question for third-party lead generation. We're kind of like, where do we go from now? And I have Bankrate acquired in 2017, and A Place for Mom, not fully acquired, but partnered with the same company, the same private equity company now controls Bankrate. They now control A Place for Mom. The FTC has stepped in and said, no, that's a monopoly. So now Caring.com is up on the auction block, so somebody's going to buy them because that was too much of a monopoly for the FTC to swallow. So just a lot of uncertainty moving forward.
Yeah, so that's a huge ramp up just in these last few years. Any other major changes do you think happening in the future with these third-party lead generators?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big change is I think a lot of people are going to get into the industry with no prior senior living experience. we know of a recent sale of a major website that gets a lot of traffic that the buyer paid a pretty good premium for it. No industry experience. They're just looking at the senior living space as a growth opportunity. And that's good, but it's also bad. Good in that, you know, they have the potential to bring a better model to the industry that benefits the operators better. That if they continue down the same path, selling leads to a place for mom and carrying.com, it's just going to create more of the same old model where, you know, operators getting a bunch of unqualified leads to sort through every day and don't necessarily result in move-ins. We think there needs to be a more efficient process. So we're hoping these new players, you know, step up their game and come up with a new model that benefits everybody. The other major change I see happening is I absolutely think costs will go up. I mean, a massive premium was paid for a place for mom. I think 15 times revenue is the number that's been kicked around. I mean, that's a huge premium to pay for a relatively modest, you know, 150 million or so in revenue company. The private equity firm that bought them absolutely has huge growth plans. I have a friend in the Place for Mom home office, and I saw him at an event, and I looked at him and said, you know, what's in store? And he said, look, they have big plans, and his eyes got really wide. And I have to believe that, you know, one way to get their money back is to raise prices. It's just bottom line. They don't have a lot of competition. They already think their prices are low at, you know, 75 to 90% of first month's rent and care. So I absolutely see prices going up in the future. You know, what we think, what should happen, I mean, kind of a crystal ball and perfect scenarios, we'd like to see third parties thinking more about partnering with the brands, delivering branded leads rather than sharing leads with five competitors, truly partnering with brands and the operators, exclusive leads to the communities. We think if a family can get to the community directly rather than through a third party, I think that'll benefit the consumer. I think it'll certainly benefit the operators in the communities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just the price hike alone that you mentioned is just a better case for changing up your strategy with digital marketing. Before we get into this next item, I wanted to start a second poll. And currently, the question is, do you currently use third-party lead providers? And we'll give another 30 seconds or so to allow our attendees to vote. Looks like we're at 73% voted already. So I'm going to close the poll here at 82%. All right, so as a result, do you use third-party lead aggregators? And astoundingly, 67% yes, 22% no, but yet 11% are still considering using these third parties.
Yeah, not surprising. I mean, everybody feels like they have to do business with these third parties, a fear of missing out. So, you know, every operator I've talked to seem to do business with one or two of these third parties. Here's a list of top traffic websites, and this is a couple months old, but this is what's crazy. I don't think a lot of people are aware of this. So, as you can see from this table, Place for Mom, they not only dominate the online traffic visits for senior living, but they also are the biggest buyers of leads from other third-party lead aggregators. I mean, Senior for Living, they are owned by a Place for Mom. Leads go to a Place for Mom, and then you look at like Paying for Senior Care, they're getting 150,000 visits a month, but they're selling their leads to a Place for Mom. I don't think a lot of people are aware of this entire ecosystem, this entire marketplace that exists, where these websites can sell their leads to a Place for Mom or carrying.com, or any buyer for that matter, but a Place for Mom or carrying.com are really the only two buying, for anywhere from $25 to $75 per lead. So they've created the biggest marketplace for leads as well, not only being the biggest traffic generators, they're buying the leads. And so there's no barrier to entry. A new website can launch and start selling their leads to a Place for Mom or carrying.com any day. And you know, that benefits the Place for Mom. They're acquiring their lead for $25. You know, maybe they have to buy 10 leads to get one move-in. That's a pretty good business model for them, because they're going to charge, you know, $4,000 for that move-in. they spend $250 to acquire that one move-in. That's a pretty good model. And so I see more of that happening, and they already control the majority of the major traffic websites out there as it is. If anybody has a question on this this slide, go ahead and just send in a question. Happy to answer. So here's the real problem, and this is where we kind of get in the nitty-gritty. There are two types of consumers online. Those that know of your brand, that's called branded search, and those that aren't aware of your brand, that's generic search. And I've given two examples. A generic search, somebody would type in, and this is very common in the early process. I'm a daughter living in Scottsdale. My mom is starting to show some decline. We're getting worried about her. I go to my web browser. I type in assisted living Scottsdale. That's a generic search. Branded search is when I already know about Belmont Village, and I'm going to go to the internet. I'm going to type in Belmont Village Scottsdale. That's a branded search. It's just using the brand or the community's name or the operator's name in your search. And a lot of people are aware of the brand because you guys do a ton of local marketing. You're in newspapers, you're in church bulletins, you're doing newspaper advertising, you're doing what I call free friends, family, residents, and employee lead generation and outreach. You got somebody out in the market talking to doctors and skilled nursing, and they're already aware of your brand. So when they go online to do research, they're going to type in, most likely, a branded search for Belmont Village Scottsdale. Here's the kick, and this is where Concentric really decided to jump in the marketplace. 53% of the time, someone who is aware of your brand is being hijacked away from you online and fed into the marketing funnels of third-party lead providers that share that lead amongst their competitors. I'll say that another way. A place for mom and caring.com gets 53% of their online traffic from people searching directly from the brands themselves, not looking for generic information on senior living. We ran the analysis on traffic for senior living keywords. It was about a 4-week process it was a lot of data to sort through. And when we looked at the fact that the top 2 lead generators are taking up real estate online from operators and communities to get 53% of their traffic, the light bulb went off in our heads, and we're like, wow, we've got to fix this. This is something that I don't think too many people are aware of. People are searching for Belmont Village, getting hijacked from that web page into placeformomandcaring.com's funnel, and then sold back to the community and charged the move-in fee at 75-90% of first month's rent and care.
Wow. Yeah, and I wanted to launch real quick. For those of you that answered yes to the previous poll, do you use third parties annually? The next question is, how many move-ins do you get with those third parties? For those of you that are currently in that model. We have about half voted so far, and again, this is just a range. All right, so we're going to close the poll, and as a result, for how many move-ins do you get with those third parties, 80% answered 1 to 10, 20% answered 11 to 30, and looks like 0 anywhere beyond 30 move-ins, and that's annually.
Okay, yeah. So that's so there's 2 things. We have a partner out here in California that they don't get a lot of move-ins from third parties, and they're a CCRC group. And when the new director of marketing did a mystery shop with a third party, she set up the phone call perfectly for the advisor to refer her community, and it didn't get referred. And so this is a problem. You may not be getting the move-ins that you're due from third parties because they're sitting on your online real estate, and I'm going to show you how that works here in a minute, and they're routing those leads to other communities that they're besties with. I can tell you firsthand, working at Blue Harbor, I would get phone calls from advisors saying, hey, I'm about to send out a lead. You've got 5 minutes before I send it out. Here's the information. because they knew this building would convert it. So if you're not getting a lot of leads from third parties, yet you're doing business with them, that might be a problem. So here is the current landscape. I mean, really the way it's set up, lead generators are really the only ones that benefit. It's a frustrating consumer experience. No consumer wants to get 10 different phone calls and 10 different emails from 10 different people all telling them that they're the greatest thing on earth. Broken pathways and attribution, you know, this is with third parties stepping in so much, it's hard to determine where your leads are coming from. I know working in the community, we would always put in the CRM if we didn't know drive-by. If you've got heavy drive-by lead conversion, it's probably coming from somewhere else. You're just not able to track it really well. And it's increased marketing costs. You're likely sourcing the lead. Somebody's typing in your name in their search. They're getting rerouted to a third party and then sold back to you. This is increasing marketing costs for all parties that are involved. It's really only benefiting the lead generators.
So, quick question. Senior living industry, we've generally used keywords such as assisted living, senior living, memory care, and independent living. How is this different from the branded search?
Well, yeah. So you're talking about general keywords, and they're definitely important. There's you know, I've changed screens here. This is why branded search is so important. In short tail keywords, like I give an example, just assisted living, there's huge volume, yet there's huge competition, but there's very low conversion. These are people that are very, very early in on the process. They're just getting started. Medium tail is what's considered 3 or more keywords. Assisted living near me is an example. And then long tail keywords represent the bulk of search. There's low competition for those. There's very high conversion. And so when you add in branded to, let's say, you know, Belmont Village, Scottsdale, Arizona, that's a long tail keyword. Assisted living near me that allows pets. This person that's typing in that keyword search has very high intent. They're ready to buy. They're getting very close to making a decision. And so what third parties have figured out is they can just sit on the long tail keywords that include branded, so Belmont Village, you know, Elmcroft, 5-star, whatever it is, and they're going to pick up a lot of traffic that's high converting, but they're also going to do pay-per-click on the very front end. You type in assisted living anywhere, and a place for momandcaring.com are going to show up. It's very expensive to do that because there's lots of competition, but it's very low converting. So that's why you're getting a ton of leads from these third parties that never convert, because they're just really early in on the process, typing in very generic keywords. They're at the very beginning of their search stage, and so that's why there's a lot of volume of competition for those generic search terms. Does that explain it pretty well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what third parties know is that it's a shelf space game. If they surround your brand online with their results, they're going to benefit. They know that targeting the brand it's about volume, rank it on as many branded keywords as possible. They know that organic search is extremely valuable. There's really high volume. It represents over 70% of the searches. It's high converting, and it's low cost. They don't have to pay Google for a click for organic results. So they are all over your organic results, and I'm going to show you here in the next slide what that looks like. They know that if they get to the name and the first and win, their contracts stipulate, and I think it's now 2 years that they lay claim to that lead. They just have to wait. Target that lead early on in their process and wait. Whether or not they were really the catalyst to get the person in the building or not, they're going to lay claim to that lead and charge you, 75% first month's rent and care. And they know the industry isn't paying attention. You guys are busy running a building or running multiple buildings. You're just not paying attention. This is all they do. So they're maximizing their shelf space every single day around the brands, and they know that when somebody goes to reach for a result, it's likely that they're going to be pulled from the shelf.
Yeah, and that's a good point regarding brand. I'm just curious. So we have one more poll, and we want to ask the attendees: do you feel like these third parties represent your community's brand better, equal, or less than you can? Let's start this poll real quick. Give just a little bit of time. We've got about half that have voted so far. Yeah, and I think the results will be pretty telling here. I'm going to close the poll, and with a resounding 100% unanimous, everyone has voted that naturally the third parties have zero representation of their brand. So even more, I think, even more of an argument to take for communities to start taking their brand over.
Yep. So we're going to help you do that. So here's the main point of today. This is a Google search around Belmont Village, Scottsdale, and if you're in front of your computer, type in your name, so your community's name and maybe a location, your town, and look at your results. But this is the result for Belmont Village, Scottsdale. The keywords I put into the Google search are Belmont Village, Scottsdale. This is a SERP page, search engine results page. This is what shows up. Google returns these results when you type in Belmont Village, Scottsdale. They'll show up to 10 results here in the organic on the left. The knowledge graph is on the right, and if your knowledge graph isn't showing up, that's a problem. We can help you with that. And then they've added this new section called reviews, where they return up to 3 results from reviews from the web. And in this result, and this is very typical, Belmont Village has the very first spot, thank goodness, but they're only taking up 1 spot directly on these results. That top spot is going to get it about 30% of the clicks, but the other 70% of the clicks are going to go somewhere else. So you can see they've got Yelp as number 2. That's good, but it's not great. When you click on that Yelp result, you'll see they have other communities doing ads, and then they also offer to look up other communities that other people have looked at. Good for the consumer, not necessarily good for the Belmont Village that sourced that lead. Somebody was very interested in them. And then you've got 3, 4, 5, and 6 taken up by A Place for Mom, Caring.com, A Place for Mom, and A Place for Mom. So 4 out of the 6 results in organic are taken up by third parties. This is where they're getting 53% of their traffic. Somebody's typing in Belmont Village, Scottsdale. I'm looking for Belmont Village, Scottsdale. I want Belmont Village, Scottsdale directly, yet 4 of these results on the left and 3 of the results on reviews are all third parties. If I click as a consumer on any one of these results, 42 reviews, pricing, dementia care, Caring.com, 4.4 out of 5, I'm interested in that. They're going to get rerouted to their marketing funnels, sold back to you, and shared with your closest competitors. This is the problem we are trying to solve, and this is where our product comes in and where we want to help you guys maximize your online real estate around your branded keywords. This is your real estate. This is, you have locations, physical locations. This is your virtual locations. We want to help you stack the results in your favor so that Google returns as many results for Belmont Village directly and not ranking third parties on your keywords.
Yeah, I think that's extremely very frustrating, and I think that's an important facet of why Google started including those reviews. People are making their informed decisions on where to go based on reviews, whether or not it's shopping through Amazon, but they're really not, the consumer is not really going to be able to discern, I think, from one third party to the next. I think that's really now the responsibility of the community to get their brand back.
Yep, absolutely. So I realize I'm a little behind. I'm going to try to speed it up. So what can you do about it? How can you influence the Google search algorithm? Google wants you guys to show up on these SERP results. They just don't have any additional results to show for Belmont, so they're just returning what is, naturally there for the algorithm to show up. But you can influence the algorithm in a couple of ways. Custom content development is the #1 thing. Google changed their algorithm lately. They like things that are trustworthy, they're applicable, and so doing custom content development around your brand is absolutely necessary. Most third parties are just scraping your websites for information. It's repurposed, recycled information. If you create new, fresh, well laid out, keyword-rich content, that will rank higher than these generic websites that just have scraped your information off your website. Where do you put it? It's 2017, guys. You got to have more than one website, or you've got to have multiple web pages on your direct website. If you don't have a blog page, you need to get one. That's where you can put authoritative content that will rank well with Google. There's no reason you should have just one website. A lot of people are just building like a landing page for jobs or a landing page for residents and families, a portal. You know, there's no reason why you can't have multiple websites. They're super easy to build and very purposeful. One for sales and marketing, one for jobs, and one for residents and families. But you don't have to do that. There's other ways to get your current website ranking by developing custom content.
Yeah, and if I could jump in real quick, Sean, just to your point for custom content development, we do see a lot of communities that have some blog content, but I think we're falling short in the industry is we're blogging about ourselves, we're blogging about some events. The custom content development can really be educational resources, and when you have a flat brochure type website that just functions as an extension of your marketing, but you don't have any ways to engage, the search engines look at that custom content and it gives them a reason to keep coming back to your website to spider for that content. So again, helping you push yourselves up the rankings to kind of dilute some of these third parties.
Yep, absolutely. Citation management. This is your name, address, phone number, correct across all verified sites that Google uses. Google uses over 70 sites to compare and contrast for accurate information. The more sites you have the same name, address, and phone number, it's as nuanced as spelling out street versus doing ST. You've got to do it consistently across the internet with the verified sites so that Google recognizes those and it goes, okay, it's all consistent. It'll start returning results for things like MapQuest, Yelp, Superpages, and many more. It's a matter of just getting it exactly right across all of the ranking websites so that Google starts returning those results as well. We see a lot of, when we go and do citation management, we know of a lot of third parties that charge a monthly fee for it. It's not really a monthly thing. It's kind of like Ron Popeil. Remember the set it and forget it commercials? You kind of set it, and it's not anything you really need to monitor monthly. It's really just kind of annually going back and checking it. It's something that we do for our clients within the first 60 days is make sure that their name, address, and phone number is correct across up to 70 sites.
And what's crazy about that, we've actually seen results with communities that have just gone through citation management, and the referral of traffic alone to their website hikes up pretty significantly within those first 30 days of cleaning up their directory listings.
Yeah, it's scary. If you're in a building that was built recently, excuse me, I'm got some ice. Maybe they had a different address for the construction office and a different phone number, and then you come in, the building's built, and now you got a new phone number and a new address. Well, if that original address was verified and never canceled, that's confusing to Google. So those are just little things that one person needs to sit in front of a computer and just hammer it out, make sure that it's consistent across all the ranking websites. Partnering with the right third parties.
What does that mean about partnering with the right third parties, Sean?
Well, yeah. So as I stated earlier, I think third parties are absolutely necessary in this industry. I think that they're helpful in a lot of ways. But what I'd like to see, and there's a handful of third parties doing this, is, and we call them friendlies, helping you brand your community individually, not generically, not sharing leads with 5 of your closest competitors, but being a true partner and going out and partnering with you to filter traffic directly for the communities. Those are the right partnerships, we think. And there's a handful of communities or companies out there doing it. I'm not going to give any names on this webinar, but if you want to know who we consider friendlies, I'm happy to respond to an email. But there are companies out there, third parties doing it the right way, partnering and doing branded lead generation for communities. That's what I mean by the right third parties. Okay. Yeah. Branded search monitoring. So this is a kind of a nuanced one, and I made this mistake back in 2012 when I was a rookie AdWords campaign manager. I was targeting my competitors' keywords. So anytime somebody typed in a competitor, I would display an ad of my building that I was representing. There's no law saying you can't do it, but it's not a good practice. I mean, all it does is benefit Google if we're bidding up each other's keywords. And so there's some tactics that you can do, cease and desist letters, or just a friendly letter to the community saying, hey, let's all play nice in the sandbox. I won't bid on your keywords. You don't bid on my keywords. Let's just try to generate our own traffic using our keywords. Let's not siphon off of each other. So that's what I mean by branded search monitoring. And you'd be surprised how many competitors are actually targeting your keywords. That's something that is a significant value. It's one of the things that we include in our package, is just making sure that we're keeping track of who's bidding on your keywords in the paid search campaigns that happen every day on Google.
I think that's very valuable. I think that's very time intensive. A lot of communities don't have the time or the resources available to do that investigative work.
Yep. It's just something that we have in our software stack. We have a search monitoring platform that we include, and so it's just a monthly report, and then we can respond to it. Unique brand asset activation and linking. So this is other social profiles beyond Facebook. Yes, they exist. It seems like every community has Facebook. They have maybe a Google Plus. If they don't have a Google Plus, they need to get one. But there's other ones out there. And the one big one is YouTube. Google loves to return social profiles. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It can be very daunting and time-consuming for an individual community to say, I can't manage 5 different profiles, and you shouldn't. But there is a way to link these in a very structural way. We have a software platform in our stack that we post to one platform. It goes out to all. There's a way to link them all, and it's kind of like a rising tide floats all boats. If you have a LinkedIn page for your individual community, that's better than a LinkedIn page for the corporate site. So you may have a corporate LinkedIn, but what about the individual community? You may have a Facebook page for the corporate site, but what about the individual community? Google wants as local results as possible. So activating additional social profiles individually at the community level, linking them together there's a very specific way to do it. They're going to start returning those results around your branded searches and pushing down the third parties further down the page. Get consulting. When I first got out of college, I was a registered investment advisor, and the model was I was paid a flat fee to work up a plan, and then a different registered investment advisor would actually execute the plan. There's no reason why we can't separate out those two. I mean, the model is, an outside marketing agency, they give you the advice, they build a plan, but then they're executing on it. They're receiving monthly revenue from it. I mean, that's not bad. This is the way it is, but we think a third set of eyes, an unbiased review of your strategy would be helpful. And whether it's us or another service provider, just getting that unbiased review of your plan is never a bad thing. I mean, it's either going to confirm that your agency is on point, or we'll find potential gaps in the strategy. It's a little weird when you're getting advice and then they're implementing the advice. I'm not saying they're doing it viciously, but it never hurts to get a third party unbiased to take a look.
Absolutely.
So in a perfect world, if you gain back control of your brand, what you should see is a better consumer experience, a better journey with your individual brand. We want to see third-party costs reduced, not increased. And we want to, and if you're doing these things that we outlined in the previous slide, it should affect your overall marketing, both your offline and online marketing. Doing this will result in more direct move-ins. If your occupancy is going up and your costs are going down, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, in our experience, our providers have been reluctant to decrease those third-party costs because they think it'll result in less move-ins. But you're saying much to the contrary, as long as we have strategies in place to compensate for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are fearful when you say reduce third parties. I think in their heads they say, oh, I automatically assume I'm going to get less overall move-ins. But like we talked about before, you guys can do a better job of converting the leads that are looking for you than third parties. They're stepping in between you and your potential residents online. These leads are looking for you directly. Now they're introduced to 5 different people as well as you to fight over. We think you can do a better job. We think you can close that lead at a higher rate than a third party. So if you're getting more direct leads from people looking for you and less going through that third party channel, it's going to result in more move-ins. Your occupancy will go up while your costs are going down.
Great, makes sense.
So in the future, what a SERP should look like, I type in the same keyword, Belmont Village, Scottsdale. They got the top spot. You should see additional community pages ranking. Activated social profiles should be showing up. YouTube video content should be showing up, and it's very easy. You can take pictures that your activities director has compiled on her iPhone or his iPhone, and you could put that into a slide format, play some music, and that's a video. So you don't actually have to have somebody come out and take video of your community. You can do just pictures and make it into a video format. Just getting a YouTube page going for your individual community will benefit you. I know this might be in the shocker, but Care Patrol, which a lot of people do business with, this is an actual tactic. If you type in and you see a YouTube result, make sure it's or look and see who it's from. Care Patrol is out there creating videos to try to get people through that channel to respond to them so that they can walk them in your building and collect their fee as well. Manager citations should be showing up, and then the friendly third parties should be showing up that are doing marketing directly for you. There's a way to get Facebook showing reviews on the reviews from the website. You can get your own, you can start a review page on your own website. And then we have an asset called elderwise.com, which is a directory listing that if somebody clicks on that listing and that review, it'll go directly to communities, not being rerouted through a third party. This is what an optimized branded SERP should look like in the future for you guys. So that's kind of it. I kind of ran through the end of it. Apologize for going a little quicker. But happy to answer any questions if anybody has anything lingering. Just an overview of what we do. We have a proprietary technology stack that nobody else in this industry has. We're the only company that have come up with a solution for this branded search problem. We build out custom content. We help activate your unique branded assets, and we have all the coaching and tips and tricks. Steven, our CEO, has been in search for 25 years. He was at AskJeeves.com, which existed before Google even existed.
Wow, I remember Ask Jeeves.
So he's been doing it for a long time.
Can we take a poll on that? Who loves Ask Jeeves?
Who remembers Ask Jeeves? That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I wanted to make an offer. Anybody interested in finding out if they have a problem or not, we have a digital brand optimization audit that we can do for you. We'll look into all of these different areas that we outline and see how much of a problem, if there is a problem for you. And so if anybody wants a free branded audit, send an email to Sean@concentric.io, and happy to do an audit for you guys and just see if there is an issue going on with you guys around your branded search.
Well, thank you so much, Sean and Stephen. I know it's a lot of information, and one of our questions was if the deck was going to be available after this call, and most definitely we will send out a recap of the presentation along with transcript. We have a few questions to run through. Shouldn't be too many. One question we have: are your fees affordable to say a single community?
Absolutely, yeah. So our fees are equivalent to about 2 or 3 move-ins a year coming directly to you rather than a third party. And the good thing about our product is it's a project, so it's not ongoing. We're going to fix it for you, and we're done. And that's kind of weird to say, but we don't want to be on your community's budget for years and years and years. We think it's about an 18-month project to fix all this for you, get your SERP results stacked in your favor, and we'll be done and we'll move on. We've got some additional things we want to do for the industry. But no, yeah, it's very affordable. 2 or 3 move-ins a year coming directly to you pays for itself.
Great, and I think that actually answers one of our other questions, if this is an ongoing process. And with the time frame of upwards of 18 months, I know that there's probably some, cross-checking involved after everything's cleaned up, campaigns kicked off, but it seems like you guys would be a complement to anyone who has a marketing agency on retainer already who might not be, this may not be their forte. Their forte might be design development, but not so much from an online brand reputation standpoint.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we're not looking to replace your marketing agency or your in-house people. We're going to just simply add on to it, get these SERP results around your most trafficked website keywords, fix the problem for you, and we're going to work in partnership with whoever you have in place.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, do you also work with startups, those that currently don't have an existing community website?
Even better, because you don't have this problem yet. So if we can tackle this problem, before you sign up with third parties, you'll be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, great. And I believe we only have one more question, and this is a good one. Knowing that there's some time involved, those that have established communities, as far as ranking onto the first page to beat out some of those third parties, how long do you predict it would take to get ranked, you know, on that first page, just below the Google PPC clients?
Yeah, so great question. So it depends. It depends on your location and how much traffic is being sourced. You know, if you're in Dallas, for example, it might be a little harder than if you're in Livingston, Texas, which is East Texas. We did a pilot with a partner, and we were on the first page with some of our assets within 6 weeks, but it was a very small market. But we say within the first 3 to 6 months, you should start seeing some movement. There's some things that might happen right away, but it's about a 3 to 6 month window before we can really get things moving, because Google likes things to marinate. We do things the very first 60 days that just need some time to marinate before Google says, okay, we're ready to show these things. And so we can't necessarily control the timeline. We can influence it, and we learn each time we do it. And our technical director, who wasn't able to be on the phone, he's been doing this for 25 years. He's been intimately involved with the Google algorithm on a daily basis for 20 years. And so he knows how to influence it, how to massage it. And so it's a 3 to 6 month window that we feel good about getting the results to show up.
Great. That's great. It's good turnaround time. I know a lot of people have a lot of marketing initiatives, especially set for 2018. So anyone who requests additional information, you can either reach out to Sean with his information on this last slide. Again, we're going to be sending this out to everyone beginning of next week. So between reaching out to Concentric, you can also reach out to Senior Living Smart at any point if you would like any additional information. But I thank you both, Sean and Stephen, for being on the call, and for all of our attendees.
Thank you, guys.